are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
Hello, and welcome once again to another fantastic Tuesday where we get to show you exactly how we help you put it back in your pocket, how we help you keep all of those resources. Well, not all of them, but as much as we possibly can. My name is Tyrone Glover, and I am the credit recovery expert. My job is to help you get to that next level and to do it in the means in which we're going to do it by credit. We're going to help you help yourself. We're going to do as best we possibly can to make sure that you have all the knowledge, all the skills, all the information, everything that you need to be able to make 2023 a full-on recovery, because that's where we are. We're in a recovery. For those of you who had a great weekend and celebrated the Martin Luther King, this is one of our very special shows. We're going to be talking about Martin Luther King Jr.'s financial advice to America. So we really are going an extra mile because we know that he did what he needed to do prior to his early demise and passing, as sad as it has always been every single year when we find the time to celebrate. I guess you can call it celebrate. I guess you can call it recognition. I guess you can call it observance. Whatever your desirable word is, it's our time now. It's our time to take it to that next level, that next step. And I want to do that for you. I want to do that for you. I want to do that for anyone who is willing, open, and available to take on this new challenge. The challenge is for you, folks. It's for you. It's to give you the opportunity and the understanding to do what you need to do. And if you do that successfully, guess what's going to happen? You're going to have everything that you need. Full-on recovery. Full-on recovery. So let's get in front of the things that we need to get in front of. Let's pay attention to the things that we need to pay attention to. And let's make this happen this year, because it's all about you, folks. It's all about what you want. It's not about what I want. It's not about what my clients may want. It's not about what my students may want. It's about what you want. They've already told me what they want, and I'm doing everything that I possibly can to make sure that I'm meeting their expectations. So my job this year and for the foreseeable is to make sure that I'm meeting all your expectations when it comes to credit recovery. It's about making sure that we have the information, that we have all of the benefits that this country is and has provided. And for those of us who have missed out, well, we're not missing out any longer. We are not missing out any longer. For those of you who may have had some credit issues, those are to the side now. We're getting ready to take care of everything we need to take care of. We're getting ready to do exactly as we need to do. Jax, you got to get up, buddy. My apologies. I'm seeing off my nephew and my niece. Live shows always sometimes get a little bit of little distractions, but that's okay, because when they're live and you got a family that you love and you appreciate, you're going to do everything that you possibly can for them. So there'll be 1 or 2 minutes while they are seeing their way out the door. And yes, it is what it is, folks. It's a brand new year. Are you ready for it? Because I am. I am so engaged. I'm so ready. I'm doing everything that I need to do for myself. And as we move through this year, we're at the beginning of it. When are you going to jump on board? We're at the beginning of the year right now, beginning of the year, right here in front of us. So do you want to have a successful recovery? Do you want to have a successful opportunity to make it to that next level, well, here's the time frame to do it. Here's the time frame to do it. All right, so we're going to jump right into the understanding, and we're going to get it going. All right, so a necessary conversation. Our necessary conversation continues. Story, do me a favor and pick his stuff with him. Put it in a plastic bag. Our necessary conversation continues, correcting the narrative with leverage credit recovery. And as I mentioned before, I am your host, Tyrone Glover, CEO, the Dress Down CEO, and I do what I do every single week for you. This topic today that we're going to be talking about is about making sure that we address Martin Luther King Jr.'s financial advice to America. I found this, and I want to thank the individual that located this for me, and it was just a great collaboration of the two. Bye, guys. See you later. Bye. Bye, Yaki. Bye, Story. It was a great collaboration, and we worked on this, and it was just so much fun. It was just so much fun to really realize that not only did Martin Luther King have a dream for civil rights, he also had a dream related to making sure that we were financially fit, stable, and ready to do what we need to do on that front as well. So today, I'm going to be introducing you to Martin Luther King's financial advice to America. Personal finance is not the first topic which comes to mind when you ponder the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr., but the great thinker, orator, man of God, and activist had quite a lot to say about this subject and how it relates to the larger focus at work in America and global society. So it's nice to know that he cared a lot about all of us in every means and way possible. So who am I, everybody? My name is Tyrone Glover. As I said before, I am an enlisted Go Army veteran, K-12 teacher, corporate America executive by way of European studies with 30 plus years entrusted to me by 19 companies in the United States and abroad, responsible for the well-being of employees and profit. My clients, friends, co-workers, students, and family remember me for my extensive knowledge of credit, for credit advocacy, credit activism, my commitment to consumer right protection, and pro se litigants' rights. From this day forward, our youth and students of all ages have a voice and a seat at the table now because of me. I'm going to do everything that I can to make sure our most vulnerable have all of the safety nets possible. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, we got way too much going on in this country that we forget about those who could potentially be our next doctors, our next lawyers, our next judges, our next police officers, our next nurses, our next firefighters. We forget about these individuals on a regular basis, and it's getting to the point now where it's beyond any type of normal comprehension. We forget about our seniors, those who have already committed and given so much, but yet we dismiss them as if they're not important any longer. This must stop. It must cease. It must halt. And the only way for that to happen is for individuals like myself to step up and say, I'll take on this. I got no problem doing this, and I have no problem doing this. But I want to include more. Martin Luther King Jr.'s message was about inclusion. It was about bringing people closer together. So I'm going to be speaking primarily to the Black churches, all churches, but I'm primarily speaking to the Black churches. Don't let Martin Luther King's Day be a one day. That's a 365-day, every single day, understanding. And we got to get it together. Bottom line, as I said, from this day forward, our youth and students of all ages will have a voice and a seat at the table. I'm that voice, and I will take that seat for everyone who is in those categories. For our working poor and our middle class, same thing. I got you back too. I got you covered like a blanket. Okay? I'm making it abundantly clear for anyone running for mayor, for anyone running for a congressional seat, for anyone running for the highest office in the land. You're going to have a formidable opponent if you think for a second that you're going to run unopposed, or if you think that you're going to make promises and not live up to them. It is overdue time for accountability, and I'm holding you accountable. It's just that simple. Martin Luther King told me to do that. And his message to you about how he saw or how he believed our financial security could have already been set in stone. But unfortunately, we are not there yet. But I'm here to tell you, you now have a fighter in the game. And I'm telling you right now, I can fight clean or I can fight dirty. I prefer to be keeping above the belt. But if need be, I can go there too. All right. So I'm just making it clear. I'm just letting you know, everybody out there, I'm letting you know the games are over. The shenanigans are through. We are focusing on making sure that those who do not have in a country where we have more than enough, we're going to make sure that we get these understandings out there and to those who can benefit from it and grow this nation in the manner in which it should be grown. Just that simple. So if you haven't already, as I always ask everybody, go ahead and put one of those lovely, hey, that guy's back out there again doing his thing. I forgot to give my shout out to the man upstairs. Please, by all means, if you haven't already, thank you, Father, for everything you do, because without him, none of this would be possible. So I had to make sure I gave that shout out. But if you didn't, go ahead and hit that device and make sure you have sent it out to someone, those loved ones who could benefit from it. And even if they don't want to chime in right now, at least what they can do is they can go back and they can review it, look at it later. All right. Okay, so King lived his life in the service of others as a drum major for justice. When men bow down in worship at the shrine of money, they bring this. They are bringing depraved. They are being depraved of most precious endowment, the possibility of living life in its fullness and in its endless beauty. That was Dr. Martin Luther King in 1953. His sermon, The False God of Money. The drum major instinct often causes us to live above our means. And that makes perfect sense because we hear that all the time. Oh, you're living above your means. 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 I'm here to correct something. Maybe back when people might have been living above their means, but today, absolutely not. What's happening is that your means are not even being met. So you can't live above something that hasn't been met. So we got to make that abundantly clear first. There's so many broken systems because systems were designed to be broken. As we go back and we review the Constitution didn't include 30, 40, 50, whatever your numbers want to be. But I'm going to say it right now. 60 to 70% of the population did not even include them. Didn't even think about the fact that, oh, wait a minute. Should we not? No, they left us out purposely. Unfinished business. We have unfinished business that we must attend to. All right, so 4 times Martin Luther King Jr. taught us about money. King's intertwined his concern of economic justice with his actions of greater justice on the world stage. So one of his moments in 1953, the sermon, The False God of Money, about the dangers of worshiping personal gain. This country celebrates that. It literally goes above and beyond to make sure that we give the Elon Musk and that we give the Donald Trumps and that we give the Jeff Bezos and that we give the what's that guy, Facebook, Meta, can't think of his name right now, Zuckerbergs, that we give all of these individuals this whole, oh my God, I got to bow down to you and worship you because you've come up with a great idea. Now you've made a little bit of bread for yourself, but yet you are harming more people than your brand could ever possibly think of. And then once you do that, you go and you change your name to something different. Stop worshiping personal gain. Start giving that love and that understanding to the creator. And then I'm sure your gain will be much, much more fruitful. And you'll be able to at least go back and say, wow, I helped a lot of people. I did some good. That's what my life's understanding is all about. Making sure that we do good. Making sure that we can step outside of our normal comfort zone. I give way more than I'm supposed to. I do way more than I'm supposed to because I'm blessed with the ability to. Sometimes I'll give my shirt off my back to make sure that one of these kids has what they need. I'll do and go beyond. I'll give homeless. I'll do anything. My charitable understandings have been so bountiful that, as I stated, sometimes I'll go without to make sure that somebody who doesn't, because I know I can get it back. I can work on it. I can do everything that I need to do to get it back. But I'm very, 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 very disheartened by those who just walk over or step over someone knowing that they could. It's not a hand out. It's a hand up. It's helping someone up to get to that next level. One generous understanding could change a life. Number two, King denounced the announcement of the Vietnam War, a nation which countries year after year to spend more and more on military defense as then on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual death. And that is so true. We have a military that is 8 to 10 times larger than our nearest ally. So, of course, everybody else who's not even close to what our nearest ally has as a military strength, you know they're not going to mess with us. You don't mess with the big dog on the porch. You mess with the little ones. So it's again, we spend so much of our money and our attention into fighting wars instead of solving our own internal problems within our own country. Nothing against what we have to do for the nation. I'm going to tell you, nothing against what we have to do for the world, for the nation and for the world. We have to secure it, and I understand it. We get it. But I mean, really, do we really need to be buying jets that the military says we don't need or don't want? Do we really need to be doing, and again, you're talking to somebody who's been in that position, supply clerk for 4 years, 5 years almost. Oh, I saw the prices of things. Trust me when I tell you, they're correct. $45 for a hammer, $15, $20 for a nail. Come on, really? We're allowing individual companies and decisions to be made by individuals who are pocketing, who are making out hand over foot while we can't even provide the basics for the soldiers, making sure that they have a decent living employment. And when I say employment, I mean wage, because the military definitely serves you properly with making sure that you have housing, making sure that you have accommodations. But as far as that wage is concerned, we could probably do a lot better in that regards. But again, he denounced his denouncement of the Vietnam War, so we clearly know that time frame. Let's talk about number 3, King's campaign for jobs and guaranteed income in 1967, cause then remains popular today. Jobs, guaranteed income. We're still talking about these very same issues. 1967. I was born in 1966. So I'm 56. That's 55 years, and we're still talking about the same things. 55 years later, we're still talking about the same thing. When is that light bulb going to go on? When are we going to see that light at the end of the tunnel? Another 55 more years? Well, I'm telling you right now, it's going to stop here in Yonkers. It's going to stop with the schools and with the individuals that I get to help. It's going to stop right here today. Today, right here, right now, as I'm introducing, and to some of you reintroducing, the understanding that Martin Luther King Jr. had prior to his death. And we're still addressing the same issues. We're not showing progress. That's not progress. That's regression, not progress. And lastly, number 4, King's dedication to the Poor People's Campaign, which would have become the major focus of his activism if he had not been cruelly murdered in 1968. All right. Poor People's Campaign. I love this campaign. It really addresses Reverend Barbara, who I get to see every so often on MSNBC or other programs. I love the fact that he is so engaged in this campaign. And now that I know that it was Martin Luther King's initial understanding of how he was going to make sure that poor people in the African-American community were going to be able to have these understandings. Where did it drop? Where did we drop the ball? Who dropped the ball? What Black church or churches didn't come together and say, we need to continue with this fight? Oh, I know some of the mega churches. I don't think you quite got the message. There's a couple of them out there. Private jet guy. I can't remember his name right now, but private jet guy. You mean to tell me God told you you need a private jet? Don't think you're serving the right God. And again, the false god of money. That's who I think you're serving. So you Black churches who can't seem to get it right when it comes to the servicing of people, you got to rethink what your message is all about, because you're definitely not following the message that Martin Luther King gave you. You're definitely not doing that. So I'm talking to Black churches. I'm talking to churches in general. If your doors are not open and doing what you need to be doing, you're going to have some reconciliation to do when that time frame comes. I know where I'm going. I'm ascending. Not going to be in purgatory, not descending. I'm ascending. I'm asking that same thing to you reverends, you bishops, you preachers, and all of you out there who claim on Sunday you live in the word, but 6 days after that, it don't know what's going on. Come on now. I'm here to tell you the truth about what Martin Luther King was telling you back when I was too young to understand it. Now that I'm fully grown, I'm looking at it now like, wow, we're still talking about the same things. We're still talking about the same things 50 some odd years later. That is unacceptable. It's unacceptable, Black churches. It's unacceptable, Black and brown human beings. It's unacceptable, working poor and middle class. It's unacceptable, parents of vulnerable youth. It's unacceptable for daughters and sons of seniors. It's unacceptable, and we got to do better. The dignity of work. If a man is called to be a street sweeper, he should sweep the streets even as Michelangelo painted, or Beethoven composed music, or Shakespeare wrote poetry. He should sweep so well that all the hosts of the heavens and earth will pause to say, he lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. Just that simple. I go to work every single day and people look at me like, my goodness, you are so happy. You are so engaged. You are so full of life. You're always smiling. You're always greeting. You're always doing the things that, again, I have the dignity of the workplace. I might not like every single person in that place because it's always been the issue. It's never about the work. And I've said this many times before. It's never about the work. The work's got to get done and somebody's going to do it. It's about the interactions we have with our fellow coworkers, our fellow citizens. It's those types of interactions that either make or break the working culture. That's why we have now 50 to 70 million people saying, "Oh, Wiedersehen, tschüss. Hasta luego. I don't want to work for you any longer, Mr. Hostile Work Environment Culture. I don't want to do that anymore." Why? Because it's not conducive. I go home and I take all of my baggage and all of my dispositions that I've gained at work. I take them home and then I unleash all that at home. It's called displacement for those who don't know. And we should be doing a much better job at not doing that. When I leave, everything leaves. It stays where it is. When I go to work, everything at home stays where it is. I don't intertwine. I don't intermix the two. Just like we talk about when it comes to your credit, your business credit, and your personal credit. Don't mix the two together. So the same thing should apply when it comes to the dignity of your workplace. Don't mix the two together. Enjoy both separately, but do it with the greatness that you already know you're supposed to be doing every single day. And if you're not up to the task, again, tell people, hey, you know what? I'm not feeling very good today. It's not in me today. And that's perfectly fine too. It's also good to not be so upbeat all the time. I give myself one day only. And that's my down day. But that's it. I am entitled to have my one day of being down. But for the rest of that, I'm up serving, doing what I need to do. I'm up giving my best every single day to every single person who I'm entrusted to or who has entrusted me to some of their personal information. Every single day. Here lived a great street sweeper who did his job well. Can you say the same thing about what you're doing? I hope you can. So King gave a speech in February 1968, mere months before his assassination, in which he returned to themes of finance and personal responsibility that he first raised in his 1953 speech, building on a 1952 speech for a fellow minister. King warned his listeners against the danger of waiting to come up first, the drum major instinct. He felt this desire was at the root of conspicuous consumption, susceptibly to advertising and unhealthy competition. Yeah, I challenge myself with some of these wonderful words, and it's okay. I don't mind making mistakes because mistakes means that I'm learning. All right, so susceptibility to advertising and unhealthy competition. King gets a surprisingly specific about how much a car or house should cost a family in proportion to their earnings. And we're seeing that now. Inflation has driven the price of everything through the roof. I can barely go to the store without leaving there and thinking, oh my God, I can't believe 2 bags, 1 bag, and you're spending $80 and $90 and $100 and $200 on stuff that you were, again, there's this an inflation calculator out there, or it's a inflation understanding that tells you from year to year, decade to decade, how much things cost back in 1920 compared to today. And what I'm finding out is that it's insane. It's completely insane. I do hope that they get a control on it. But in the meantime, you need to be making sure that you're doing better for yourself. You need to be renegotiating contracts with the lenders. You need to be talking up to whomever it is that you need to be talking up to, renegotiating your financial situations. Because if you're not, it's not going to improve for you. Those who have big businesses, they're taking care of themselves. Why are they taking care of themselves? Because they go back to those books, they look at them, and they renegotiate. So I'm telling everybody today, get your negotiation hats on and start renegotiating your contractual understandings. They may say no, but the answer is always no. If you don't speak up, you don't add something to the conversation. So if you don't know how, this is the location to find out how. Let us help you. Let us get you into that understanding that, hey, you know what? I can do these things. I just need someone to maybe hold that hand, pick me up when I get the no, because trust me, you're going to get some no's. And it's okay. No doesn't necessarily mean no. It just means not yet. Willing partners. This is what you're looking for. You're looking for willing participants. Anyone who's going to tell you flat out, oh, no, I'll let it sit, or no, I don't need it. They're lying. They're not telling you the truth. They would love to have those 100% occupancy. Why do I know that? I used to work for United Airlines. Yes. I used to work for a lot of places where inventory and how we're filling things tells the true story as to whether or not you're successful or not. People who can say, well, I can leave my apartment empty for 4, 5, 6, 7 months. No, you can't. Because obviously the cost of that is coming out of now your pocket. You're not making that much money, but I'm not going to try to tell you what you're doing. You're going to do your business the way that you want to do your business. But all I got to tell you is this: contractual negotiation. One more time. Contractual negotiation. Start revisiting your old contracts. Start anew with some new ones. And anybody who's going to tell you, oh, after 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20, oh, there's nothing we can do for you. It's time that you, Auf Wiedersehen, Just at the logo, bye-bye. It's time for you to cut ties with those companies or those individuals that constantly see you as their bread and butter, but won't do anything when it comes to the give and take. Got to be careful, folks. Got to be careful. So, financial lesson from Dr. King. Don't wait for economic change. Create it. Pandemic. We waited for it. Now we're out of it. Not out of it completely. There's still some reminiscences of. There's a couple of other things that are out there as well. Economic changes. There was two of them. If you lived through the Obama economic change, you lived through the Trump economic change. We're now living through the Biden economic change. Now let's create some profitabilities for us. There's more than enough out there. More than enough out there. Create the change you want. Don't wait for it to come knocking at the door because it's not going to happen. Create the change you want. Financial freedom is worth fighting for. I fight for it every single day. I fight for it every single day, not just for myself, but for my clients. I had a client today where I was almost on the phone pretty much the whole entire day, not dealing with her concern, addressing her concern. Dealing with her concern makes it sound so, oh my God, like she couldn't do it on her own. Of course she could. Of course, this client could have taken care of it all by her lonesome. No problem in the world. But unfortunately, a lot of us don't speak business language, and we don't speak rude. Because a lot of these entities that you're going to have to deal with are rude. Rude, flat out rude. If you work for the state, or you work for a sheriff, or you work for somebody in that regards, and you're nasty and rude, oh, don't be surprised if those of us give it right back to you. Oh, we're not going to belittle you. We're not going to call you all these nasty, vicious, horrible words. But also remember something too. Calls are being recorded for quality assurance and training purposes. And we can use that very same tone and tenor against you. So don't be surprised if we're sending out a little bit more emails addressing your bitterness about what you do. Don't be mad or bitter with us. You don't even know us, and we don't know you either. But if we have to reach out to you to ask you a question for something, please be a bit more understanding. Not everybody's trying to get something for nothing. A lot of us just need clarity. And once we get that clarity, guess what we get? We get resolve. Because we got that clarity for that client today. And guess what that client ended up getting before the day was over? Got resolved and was able to now walk away with the full understanding that, hey, wasn't my concern anyway, but I needed to address it because it was something that was put in front of me. So financial freedom is worth fighting for. Let's fight for it, folks, because I'm here to fight with you. Sometimes you need to step out on faith and take a risk. We are so risk averse, and I do not understand. We're risk averse in certain things, but we are so risk tolerant in others. We'll walk outside in the rain. We'll walk outside with little shirt, little things, or we'll walk outside with no hat. It's cold. We'll walk outside with no shoes or socks, and it's wet. We'll do some of the most egregious things. And when it comes to our resources or finances, oh, well, we put the brakes on. We don't need to be putting the brakes on, folks. We need to be finding ways and avenues to build. I believe that Father God is going to give me one more day. So when he does give me that one more day, I go out and I build positive relationships. I build great understandings, whether it be with my students, my family, or with my clients. I would love to have a much, much stronger, better understanding with my family, but we all know how that dynamic works. Sometimes you have good ones and sometimes you have bad ones, but they're all your family. Every last one of them. The ones who get on that last nerve and the ones who do not. They're still your family, so we still have to love them. We still have to do what we need to do. And the more that we understand that, do it in the contractual context. You do that, I'm telling you now, you'll save yourself a lot of headache, because a lot of the times we do things and we don't do it in the manner in which it's written out in a contract. Your education, job, or career status doesn't define you. A lot of you managers and a lot of you district managers and a lot of you VPs, y'all run around here with titles and you're not doing very much. You just run around here with a title. I've never seen more titled people who don't do nothing. You go to work and you're unhappy. You go to work and you're sad. You go to work and you're miserable. So you make everybody else's life miserable and sad and unhappy. If you don't like what you do, quit. Stop letting it define you so that you go into your workplace and define others. Create the environment that you want. I want a peaceful environment. I want a happy environment. I want a welcoming environment. So that's why when I go to wherever it is that I go, I'm at peace. I'm open. I'm welcoming. I'm inviting. But I demand respect. And I command, in some degree as well, respect. But it's never to the point where I'm taking someone else and making them the butt or taking them and putting them in harm's way. Never. Just like I tell my students all the time. You can tell me no if I ask you to go stand on that chair and put your head out that window. If I ask you to jump on that desk, you can tell me no all day because I'm putting you in harm's way. But if I ask you to sit down and take out your book or start writing that paper or whatever it is related to you doing what you already know you have to do, I don't think there's no way where you can tell me no. So I'm defining our roles. There's a teacher and there's students. And as long as we're orchestrating those roles in accordance, we're going to have the best time ever. That's why that's why I love what I do. And lastly, take your work seriously. Take it seriously. It's your signature. The work that you do represents who you are. You do a sloppy job, guess what? You're going to get sloppy results. You're going to get managers or supervisors or anyone who comes from the higher echelon down to view, whether it be your store, your school, whatever it is. They're going to give you the appropriate understanding if they see that you don't take your situation serious. So take it serious, folks. Start today. These 5 little pieces here. Financial lessons from Dr. King. 5 little pieces. I need you to instill these into your everyday understanding. Every day. Every day. Take these, run with it. Whoever wants the copy of this slide, please do not hesitate. I'll be more than happy to send it out to you. All right? More than happy to make sure that you get this. Great lessons from Dr. King. Great lessons. Writing for the Freedom Budget. Let's take a look and see what this is all about. As I told you, I was impressed with every bit of what this brought to the table. Impressed with every bit of it. Budgets Are Sexy offers a thoughtful essay on Martin Luther King's financial legacy as a philanthropist and people's economist. King gave away most of his personal income to others. Never knew. He's kind of like myself. I got to say, I'm kind of like him. It's all I do. Seems like that every time I get something, somebody's got their hand out, and I'm just that nice of a person to say, okay, you know what? I can make it back. You're probably going to have a much harder time. So here you go. Need something to eat? I got you. Need a snack? I got you. One of my students last year came and said, looked at him, his head was down. I said, what's the matter, son? He looked at me and said, all I need is a hug. Guess what I did? Opened them wide up, say, come on in here. Every time I saw him, I gave him a hug. Same thing. The service of others. King also engaged in supporting a proposal known as the Freedom Budget, which was developed in 1966 by A. Philip Rudolph Institute. It lays out 7 recommendations. So those of you who don't know, I had the 21st up here because that's actual Martin Luther King's birthday. We celebrated on the 17th. For what reason? That's something you would have to ask Congress. All right, so here's those 7 items that Martin Luther King was talking about. Writing the Freedom Budget. To provide full employment for all who are willing and able to work, including those who need education or training to make them willing and able. Willing participants. That's all you need. Train them right, treat them right, pay them right. Guess what you're going to get? You're going to get right employees. It's just that simple. I've lived by that all my entire adult life. Pay me right, treat me right, handle me right, protect me right, and I'll be in your face doing the right thing all the time. Stores always made out. Again, so all you gotta do is just do the right thing. It's not that hard. We're still talking about minimum wage in this country. We're talking about go to work and do the maximum, but we're only going to give you the minimum. That doesn't work. Doesn't work. Number 2, to assure decent and adequate wages to all who work. Is that a hard thing to do? We can give CEOs golden parachutes of millions and millions and millions and tens of millions of dollars. We can let companies become trillion-dollar entities, but we still cannot assure decent and adequate wages for all. That's that. If it sits right with you, good for you, but it doesn't sit right with me, and I'm going to do everything that I possibly can to make sure that we address this, take care of it, and move it to out of this stratosphere so we don't keep talking about something that isn't automatic. This is an automatic. This is an automatic. Decent and adequate wages is an automatic. Let's make it happen. To assure a decent living standard to those who cannot or should not work. Our seniors are disabled, those who are in a capacity where they've already served, our veterans, and already have done, and they were injured through whatever the means were. You mean to tell me we can't make sure that they have a decent living standard? Everything is about the minimum, about the bare minimum. Let's give them the bare minimum. I've never seen a social service program that tells you, oh, we're going to give you resources, but we're going to take those resources and we're not going to put it onto your gross. We're going to put it onto your net. We're going to wait till you have almost nothing. And then we're going to make that so stringent that even when you do go, even though you know you barely have anything to make it through, they're still going to tell you, but you still make too much. I've never been in such a circumstance like that. Never. But I've heard it over and 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 over. Upon coming back to these United States, many times as I sat into Social Security offices and heard these horrible people tell very vulnerable seniors or people who are in need, sorry, nothing we can do for you, sorry, with the giddiest and the most despicable smile on their face. Just went through a whole situation with a young lady where, again, our services are being cut off. Why? Oh, because you didn't do your part. Well, entity, you don't do your part either. You're not clear in your understandings or your expectations or your directions. Maybe you should start there on the inside, because trust me when I tell you, the consumers that I'm working with and the ones that I've already instructed and given the directions to, don't go down there showing your hiney parts. Be as professional as you possibly can. Let them get out of character first because they don't like their employment. But don't you ever get out of character because they're going to use that against you. And once they use it against you, they're going to constantly keep compounding on it. Every time they see you, they're going to push that button to see, oh, can we get this one riled up again so we don't have to take care of this one? To assure decent living standards. Decent living standards. To wipe out slum ghettos and provide decent homes for all Americans. All Americans. I look in our slums and ghettos or whatever it is that you want to label them as. It's perfectly fine. You can call them slum. You can call them ghetto. I can call them just inhumane housing. That's what I call them. Inhumane. Inhumane. You would not put your mother or father in some of the circumstances that you put our citizens in. There, that is inhumane. It's just that simple. If you wouldn't yourself live in it, but yet you are leading a program that does it, inhumane. So we got to get better. We got to get better. There's nothing wrong with building adequate, decent, sustainable housing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Let's make it happen, folks. To provide decent medical care and adequate educational opportunities to all Americans at a cost that they can afford. One of my friends told me a while back, $185,000 in student loan debt. He's never going to get out of that debt. Not working at the Reagan National Library, he's never going to get out of that debt. At $12, $13, he might be up to $15 now, but that's still not going to help him get out of $185,000 worth of student loan debt. And knowing that the Biden administration is only trying to cut off 10 to 20, sir, friend, I'm sorry, you need to come and sit down and talk to me so we can get you onto some day trading and some investing and some other opportunities that might grow that portfolio, because you're not going to make it doing what you're doing. It's not going to happen. If there are other students and other individuals out there that are dealing with the same circumstances, well, folks, I'm asking, get out of your own way and start reaching out, because we can help you. To purify our air and water and to develop our transportation and natural resources on a scale sustainable to our growing needs. The infrastructures in this country are about as abysmal as they possibly can get. Abysmal. The apartments and some of the dwellings in which I get to go see and visit, and some of my relatives live in and some of my friends live in, sorry, we're giving slumlords the ability to continue to be slumlords because we're not holding them accountable. This is not me telling you something that wasn't already out there. This is Martin Luther King Jr. All I'm doing is reinforcing the words that he used some 50 years ago, and we still haven't made the progress that we need. We still haven't made that progress. When are we going to do it? As I said before at the beginning, I'm talking to Black churches. I'm talking to the middle class, and I'm talking to the working poor of all ethnicities. We're living under the same understanding. Just because you're Caucasian, don't think that Caucasian rich people are going to pull you out and leave us behind. Don't think because you're Black and Tyler Perry has a movie studio down there and, he's going to help us all out. No. Don't think that the federal government is going to do it either. They're going to do what they can, but now that we got a House that's talking about, we might even default on the debt ceiling, which, of course, some of you are probably thinking, well, how does this guy know anything about the debt ceiling? Well, I'm smart. I'm intelligent. I'm bright. I'm someone who stays attuned to what's going on. Yeah, the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling is about monies we've already spent. Okay, that's what that is. It's about monies we've already spent. It's about making good on that which was already spent. Not spending that is to come. So when Congress talks about, or when this so-called speaker only by name, McCarthy, when he talks about, we're going to shut down the government, or we need Democrats to stop spending so that we can control the debt. No, sorry, sir. You're misleading and you're, again, lying to people. Okay? Yes, I know what I know because I pay attention. But again, not for me, folks. Martin Luther King, 50 some odd years ago. To unite sustained full employment and sustained full production and high economic growth. Now, we got the economic growth piece. We're doing very, very well for ourselves. No question, this country has made out. I can show you a chart that shows you our investments have gone through the roof. The Dow, the NASDAQ. We got a bad economy. No, we don't. No, we don't. No, we do not. If you think about, and I'll show it to you in a little bit here, all the circumstances that we've already gone through. Trust me when I tell you, we don't have a bad economy. We just have individuals who want to make out more than everybody else. And when you have a bad quarter or a bad year, you don't think about the 5 or the 6 or the 8 or the 10 years prior to that where you had it good and golden. What did you do with that? Come on now, people, please stop. But as I stated, not my words. Not my words. I'm just reintroducing you to Martin Luther King Jr.'s version of how he thought and what lessons he can give you to how we could be a sustainable, financially fit United States of America with no problems if we do the right things. All right. So as Martin Luther King Jr. was accused of communism in his own day, so are now groups such as Black Lives Matter and supporters of the Green New Deal are accused of communism as well. Really? Is helping people communism? Is trying to find alternative energy sources or renewable energies, is that communism? Because I'm lost. I thought those were beneficial things. I thought that was progress. But when you get those out there who all they want to do is, again, send a mixed message to a select amount of people who all they're going to do is rah, 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 shish, boom, ba about what they don't like. All because they think somebody else is trying to get what they are supposed to or think that they're entitled to. We got to do better, folks. We have to do better. We're 50 years behind the times, and we're still talking about things that we should not be talking about any longer. So this day dedicated to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Memory gives me the opportunity to ask myself, how will I spend my time and my money for the benefit of other people? I'm still answering that question. Actually, I've pretty much satisfied that question. I'm going to continue to keep doing for my fellow man. I'm going to continue to keep making sure that my fellow man has, even though it might put me a little bit out there for a minute or two, it's perfectly fine. I have the resources, the means, the skills, the knowledge, the understanding, the talent, the brilliance, the bright, which you all have as well. And my job is to foster that. My job is to help you realize you can do exactly as I can. We unify, we come together, we'll solve our problems. We keep making it a divide, this one against that one against this one. We're going to have these endless problems continuing. And I need you to ask yourself those very same questions. How will you make the world a more just and beautiful place? What can you do? And the question for you, how will you? So I need you, if you're taking part in this necessary conversation, I need you ask yourself those questions. And I would be kind if you would be also equally so kind to reach back out with a reply. It would be so great. Send it to me under my leverage credit recovery at gmail.com. Send it to Soul City Network. You can even send it to my friend, dear friend, Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse, who also resides in this wonderful space of educating individuals about how they're going to have to take the necessary financial steps to get out of whatever situation that they may be in. We got it going on, folks. I keep telling you, the professionals are here. We are here. We are ready. We are willing and able to do what we need to do. And now that we have revisited Martin Luther King's day, do we leave it at that day? Do we just go and have breakfast and then we just talk about it for a 24-hour period and then we forget about it? I'm saying absolutely not. We take that day and we keep building upon every single other day that is to come. We make progress in every way possible. We help our fellow brother and sister. Doesn't matter the ethnicity. We do what we can to pull our brothers and sisters out of these financial hardships. Some created on our own, but over the last two, I'm sorry to have to say, due to no fault of our own. 7 words. You didn't create the pandemic, and if you need me to go to court to express that for you, you need me to talk to one of your debt collectors or anyone who's coming after you for whatever the reason may be when it's related to your finances. Pick up the phone, call Tyrone. Erykah Badu gave us all the okay to call Tyrone. All right, so drop us a line, folks. The necessary conversation continues. Correcting the narrative with your credit recovery CEO, Tyrone Glover. This is what we do. This is what we do, and we love it. We love every minute of doing it. Contact us to get more information. I use a Linktree, and Linktree is pretty cool because it allows for me to take even this show. You can go right back later on and pass it over to your friends or whomever. You can go right to my Linktree. It'll be on my Linktree. It'll also be on YouTube because we use YouTube as well. Soul City Network has given me the understanding that they love what I bring to the table, and I'm so grateful for Matt, Jasmine, and everybody else who works behind the scenes to make sure that I'm producing or giving you the content and the ability to see that, oh my God, I can do better. There are people out there who want me to be successful. And trust me when I tell you, I'm not here to compete with you. I'm here to enhance. I'm here to give you the knowledge that I have. 30 plus years, 19 different companies, worked for 4 different unions. I'm not just a wealth of knowledge. I'm probably the best resource that any business or any entity could ever possibly want. That's not a resume, folks. I'm not trying to solicit for a job, but hey, you got one that's paying good, I'm open to listening. Absolutely. P.O. Box 101, Yonkers, New York, 10701. Telephone number 805-428-9424. That is a California number. Yes, everybody's probably the same thing. How do you have a California number? Well, I have a California number because I had my number for so long. And it's like my Social Security. 120. Don't give out your Social Security number ever. But it's kind of like that. I remember this number because I've had it so long. And lastly, leveragecreditrecovery.com. Reach out to the website, take a look around. If you see something that you like, if you're interested in whatever it is that we provide, which, as I told you before, I'm a credit guy. I love the lane. I don't get outside of it. I stay exactly where I need to be because there are other experts out there that I'm not here to compete with anyone. What I'm here to do is make sure that we all have what we need. Bottom line. You come to me, I'm going to give you the best. And then if you are in need of something else and it's not my lane, I'm going to pass you off to somebody that I've already vetted to make sure that they're going to give you their best. And if they don't, you come right back and you let me know so that I can address it with them. There's no time for nastiness and bitterness and fights and this back and forth. There's no more time for it, folks. None. Zero. Let's focus on the things that we have to do. Let's build a better nation for all ethnicities. Now, as I said, I'm talking primarily to Black churches. I'm talking primarily to the working poor and middle class. I'm talking to Black and brown. But please, not for a second, don't think that I'm dismissing our Caucasian brothers and sisters, our Hispanic brothers and sisters, our Asian brothers and sisters, our Middle Eastern brothers and sisters, our European brothers and sisters. Don't think for a second that I'm missing or forgetting anyone in the United States that is an American. And what's so brilliant and beautiful about finance, it's global. So don't even think that I'm forgetting about the continents or the countries. We can do this in every single possible language. You just got to want it more than those who are presenting it to you. All right, so social media, there we are, people. We are out there. TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Tumblr, Snapchat. Like us, follow us, join us. Find me out there and get that information that you need to be successful. Because if you want to be successful, I'm here to make sure that you're successful. You want the success financially when it comes to the credit realm, I can make you successful. All they said before, contract negotiation. You're negotiating, folks. You're negotiating. If you don't know how to negotiate, that's where I come in. My job is easy because I know what I know. My job is helping consumers because I can get things done that other people can't get done because they don't know what I know. Just that simple. All right. A little bit of tidbits. We have a new show going on at the Yonkers Public Library. Talk finance with an expert. Yonkers Public Library in the tech center. The necessary conversation continues. Yonkers Public Library blessed me. I'm telling you, they blessed me. They said, hey, we know you wanted just one Saturday. We're going to give you a couple of more Saturdays. So every Saturday at Yonkers Public Library here in Yonkers, New York, 1 Larkin Plaza. Get your credit advice from a credit expert, someone who loves this understanding like he loves life. And trust me when I tell you, I love life. Ladies and gentlemen, you have blessed me again with one more day showing me that you're in tune, you're engaged, that you appreciate the fact that somebody is doing what we need to be doing. My name is Tyrone Glover, and I am the credit recovery expert. You can find me, obviously, as I said, or send me out a email at leveragecreditrecovery@gmail.com. You can visit the website, leveragecreditrecovery.com. And as always, folks, we want to thank you for giving us the part of your day, because you could be doing something else, but you chose to spend it with me. And I am so grateful, so thankful. Don't forget to watch Access Wealth Nation with my good dear friend, Dr. Yana B. Woodhouse. She is an expert in her lane. Please do not forget that Thursday, same time slot as this one here. Thank you, everybody, for watching. As always, be safe, America.